Giro. Pardon my appearance. Haven't done my hair in a little while. Been a little busy lately. How about you? I sent out an email recently about the history and electives help session link that you will now find in your Class Connect sessions in place of the normal Mrs. Girots help and interventions for fine arts, and digital photo classes. I just want to make you completely aware when you go into your schedule and you see this history and electives help session from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., please know that I am still there 12 to 1, just like I have always been, Monday through Thursday, 12 to 1. I am in that room waiting to help you, right? And not enough of you have been coming in. So I need you guys to step it up. We only have 5 more days of school. So if you are not passing your class, you need to come and spend some time with me. Why? Because I will motivate you. I'll be like, get your grade book open. What's the first thing you need to do? Get it done. Start working. And I'll be there to answer questions when you have it. And don't ever be afraid to ask me questions. Don't ever be afraid to ask. That's what I'm here for. My goal is that 100% of my students pass my classes, okay? It's pretty selfish, actually, on my part, but it also benefits you. I want you to pass this class, okay? So please show up from 12 to 1. And then I also have interventions. I usually do my interventions on Tuesday and Wednesday from 3 to 4, so you can guarantee I'll be there from 3 to 4. But guess what? This week, today, I'm also going to be there on Thursday from 3 to 4 because I've asked every student that's failing to at least have their week 3 critique done. And there are still a ton of you who've been ignoring my texts, my auto dials, and my emails. By the way, you need to check your email every single day and read your emails carefully so that you know what's going on in the class. And you need to just get cracking, people. Now, for those of you who are excelling and passing the classes and doing great, and some of you are just above and beyond, you know that that lecture wasn't for you, right? So ignore that and hurrah, yay for you and everybody else that's not in those shoes yet. In the next 5 days, you can get in those shoes. You can get in the hooray, I did it, I'm past this class shoes, because next Thursday and Friday is fall break. And the cool thing about fall break is if you're passing your class by next Wednesday, guess what? Fall break is longer than a 4-day weekend. Fall break is the 4-day weekend plus the whole next week because you will be exempt from taking the final exam. That final exam is like a carrot. Do you want to take a final exam? I don't want to take a final exam, so I'm going to do everything I can to be passing by next Wednesday. Does that make sense? So that next Thursday, you're off for like a week and 4 days. I mean, it does not get any better than that. So please, let that make sense in your brain. Let that get your cogs going. Get your wheels turning. Get going. Just get up and start working. And if you need the motivation, show up. Just come into the classroom. Come on, that's what we're there. And you can come in any time from 12 to 4. Maybe just having a teacher there is going to be the presence that you need to be accountable to get working. Now, I also wanted to share this incredible video with you because I know this whole concept of the classes changing in the schedule is hard to deal with because you're kind of like, what is going on? And believe me, I feel the same way. But sometimes in life, our cheese gets moved. And so I need you to learn the skill of dealing with it when someone moves your cheese, because that's essentially what happened to us this week. Someone moved our cheese, and now we have to figure out where it's at. So here's a great video that illustrates that.
Who Moved My Cheese is about dealing with change in your work and in your life. Cheese being a metaphor for what you want in life. Everyone has their own idea what cheese means to them, and we go after it because it makes us happy. The maze in the story represents where you look for your cheese, or happiness. Your cheese is always changing, and you should not get comfortable in relying on your cheese to always be how or where you left it. In doing so will help you deal with change and bring you greater success, no matter how you define success for yourself. The 4 characters in the story represent parts of us, and it's up to you to identify which parts you are now and which you would rather be from now on. There's 2 mice, who don't overthink everything and just get on with life. Sniff constantly sniffs out the change and is ready for it. Scurry goes into action immediately without needing to know all the information. Then there's 2 little people, really smart people who've done well for themselves so far. Hem, he likes to stay in a safe, familiar territory, and Haw, who's slow to adapt to change but is open-minded. Sniff and Scurry go out and seek new cheese every day. Hem and Haw comfortably rely on their past knowledge and experience and assure themselves the cheese will be right where they left it. Hem and Haw even moved their house closer to their cheese and built a social life around it. They became so comfortable they didn't even notice what was happening. Sniff and Scurry noticed the cheese was diminishing and that one day it wasn't there. But they were not surprised. They were prepared and knew what to do. The situation had changed, so they decided to change. They sniffed and scurried in search of new cheese. Hem and Haw had not been paying attention to the changes. They took it for granted and were unprepared. How could this have happened, they thought. Nobody warned them. They wanted to believe somebody moved their cheese and didn't want to believe that they had failed to notice it getting smaller and smaller every day. Hem's complicated brain and deep belief system demanded to know why this had been done to him. While Hem and Haw were busy worrying about what happened to them, Sniff and Scurry were already out finding new cheese in uncharted territory, and it didn't take long before they found new cheese and started enjoying life again. Hem and Haw remained bitter and angry about not having their old cheese, complaining how life was unfair to them. They got used to being comfortable and were now afraid to go find new cheese. They got stuck in a habit of doing the same things over and over again and wondering why things didn't get better. Eventually, Haw realized the cheese was never coming back and may have to face his fears and go find new cheese. He finally stopped blaming others and took responsibility for himself. After all, it is safer to search in the maze than remain in a cheeseless situation. As Haw enjoyed his newfound cheese, he reflected on past mistakes and realized nothing got better until he changed. He didn't like it at the time, but the change was a blessing in disguise. Hem was too stubborn, or proud, or just simply unwilling to change. Nobody knows what became of Hem. Move with the cheese.
Okay, so that was the awesome video that I wanted to share with you. So what's the moral of the story? Well, first of all, remember with our Class Connects, somebody moved our cheese, but all they did is rename it. But you need to ask yourself what your cheese is, okay? What are you hemming and hawing about? How come you're not just getting right in there and sniffing and scurrying out what you need to get done? What kind of shift in your thinking do you need to make? Figure that out and start getting your work completed so that by next Wednesday, you're passing your class. You can do it. Don't make excuses. Even if you came in late, you still can catch up in the next 5 days if you sit down and put your mind to it. So, make it so.